Hi guys, my name is Heather and I'm a holistic health and life coach, and I help women overcome anxiety and recover from trauma without having to relive it. And this is one of my clients, Crystalline. She's been kind enough to share her experience with our time together, the things that she's learned, the things that she's shifted in her own personal experience, and kind of where she was when we first started and where she is now. So I'm super excited to share her, give her this space so she can share her story and her progress with you guys, because she has done a absolutely amazing job. She is truly a success story. I'm so thankful she's here and agreed to share her story with you all. Again, this is Crystalline. Thank you so much, Crystalline, for joining me. I really, really appreciate you. This is going to help so many people see that what's possible for them. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I know that this can be funny, weird, getting recorded and stuff. So I really appreciate you doing this for me. So I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions so people can kind of get to know where you were, what you were experiencing, and then the difference between then and now. So I'd like for you to just get into the mindset of before you met me, right when you met me, kind of the things that were going on. You know, we kind of talked about this at our last session. We kind of fell in each other's laps. It was really cool, kind of like fate, meant to be, destiny. So just kind of remember back then how you were feeling. What were your thoughts? What kind of emotions were you experiencing? And what was going on in your mind then?
So when I first started, like everything was upside down. I had went to therapy with my doctor. I had tried several different things. Usually I'm just one to figure it out and go on, but I had always been everybody else's stronghold. And so when it come time to need somebody to be mine after losing mom and the separation and everything else that was going on, like I had nobody, and I found myself stuck. Like reality set in and everything hit me at once like a ton of bricks. And I didn't know coming from going, I didn't know what to do. Usually I'm good at figuring things out, but I couldn't figure it out. I was drowning in emotion and self-pity, and I was tearing myself down and didn't even realize it. But it was awful. And so I was just looking for something to help. And then there you were. But it was a mess. Everything was chaotic. Nothing come easy. Everything was stressful. There was no enjoyment. It was just like a robot, kind of just going through the motions. Occasionally there would be a feel good moment, but then it was right back to self-pity and shame and cry on my soap bar. And it was just negative. It was so bad and downing. So that's some.
Yeah. So I remember some, some things from the beginning, like you were having trouble just in your day to day, like enjoying work, enjoying time with your kids. It was just so hard. Everything was just like I remember, I think you used the word like you just felt kind of numb.
Yeah.
Whereas before, like before the separation and your mom and everything, even though you had already been through a lot, like in your childhood and just in your life in general, you were this bright and bubbly person. You didn't really let any of that get to you. You were always taking care of your family. You were always doing all of these things, but it all just kind of caught up with you, right?
Yeah.
And it got to a point where everything was draining. Everything was like, well, how do I enjoy this, right?
I was good at sweeping it all under the rug and just staying busy and going until I couldn't anymore. It all just hit me at once.
Yeah. And I'm so glad that you decided to reach out. So you mentioned that you talked with your doctors, you tried some therapy. So my next question was, did you try anything to get help with those challenges before our work that didn't help? So you kind of said that. So what was so do you care to say maybe why you think that it wasn't helping compared to what you experienced here with me?
So for me personally, and everybody's experience is different, but with me personally, going to the doctors and everything else, because again, there wasn't much that I didn't try, straight down to alcohol to trying to numb it. Like I went through so much, and it was like all my childhood trauma, being sexually abused, everything, not having mom, like just so much come up at once. And I had went to the doctor, and he was like, okay, how do you feel about it? Let's talk about it. How do you feel about it? And granted, he was great. Like, I knew him a little bit, and he's older, but I knew him outside of the doctor's office. So I thought, okay, this will be fine. I'll be comfortable. But it wasn't like that, because I had to talk about it. He wanted me to go into detail. It was like I was reliving it over, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was painful. It was basically as if I was venting, which was great for the moment, but it was no solution, when I went home and left his office, because then it was on my mind the whole drive home or whatever.
Yeah.
Dreams, crying. And then that's where alcohol was my best friend. Or on like mom's death day, her birthday, these certain days that stick out of the month, I would drown myself in alcohol because it made me feel better.
Right.
And Ellie, all it was doing was numbing, because I didn't know how to cope and deal properly and how to overcome it. And again, I was good at sweeping everything under the rug. So when it all come up at once, it was like no way out.
Yeah.
So I got tired of venting, having to relive.
Right.
And that's honestly all it was for me.
Yeah. 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 And I totally understand. And I totally agree. Everyone's experience is going to be different and unique. And, it really just depends like on the person. Like sometimes talking through it can be really healing. But I was the same as you. Like when I went to therapy, or when I just talked about it and somebody just wanted me to explain the situation in detail, like I left there just thinking about it more and deeper, and like feeling even more sorry for myself, more self-pity. And, really like the victim mindset really set in really hard whenever that was happening for me. And, when you're living in energy like you're a victim, then it just kind of sets us up to be victimized, right? Like it's like we're already victims, and we're already feeling like we don't deserve to be treated right. And like just thinking about the crap that we went through just makes it like, well, this is why something's wrong with me. I don't know what I did in a past life to deserve this, or like I'm actually here being punished. It's really easy to feel that way. And so that's why that was my experience too. And like I said, everyone's is going to be unique and special for them. But because that's how I felt as well, whenever I learned many different techniques that I kind of teach to my clients, that you learned, I wanted to make sure that, we weren't reliving those situations. All you might be reliving is the emotions or the cause, but it's for you to nurture them as if they were your each emotion, and each version of you is like your new little inner child that you get to take care of. And now I teach, and that's what I had to learn to do, like through my research and stuff. And because I'm a meditation instructor, I kind of took my research and my meditation education, and I combined the two to create these techniques and tools so that you can meet each version of yourself, meet the emotions, and allow those things to become part of you, instead of things that you're ashamed of or feel guilty about, or allowing them to like block you out. So cool. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think a lot of people feel that way. Like I said, everyone's situation is going to be unique and different to them, because everyone's healing is unique. But I think there are a good amount of women and even men out there. I actually have a male client too that I'm going to be interviewing. So he was in the Army. He's a veteran, right? And he had some PTSD, and he would always go to the VA talking about these things. And they're like, your life is great, you're fine. And he's like, bro, like, I want some help. So I'm excited to interview him later. But yeah, everyone's experience is going to be different, but sometimes we need some additional support, some tools, some actual coping mechanisms, not only a place to vent. Meanwhile, venting can help. We need a little bit more than that sometimes. Awesome. So my next question for you is, now that you've gone through my program, I know we've got a couple weeks left still, but now that you've gone most of the way through, what are the thoughts and the emotions and experiences that you're having now, today? What does life look like for you today?
So I have found my way, and nothing really comes to me anymore. Not saying I'm perfect or whatever, by no means, because stuff still happens, life still happens. But I have the tools now and know exactly, like, it's, if any little thing happens throughout the day, whether it be work, home, like in the back of my head, I automatically know, oh, I can do this or I can do that. Like I already know what to do and how to take care of it. So the tools have been provided. Nothing really comes as a challenge to me anymore. Like I'm not blindsided with the emotion or feeling, because I know how to properly handle it and deal with it without pity and feeling sorry for myself, because I don't have to do or be those things. And I'm not a downing negative person. So not having to continue going through all of that, like I can go outside, I can be happy, I have found my ways in so many ways. I walked out on a job. I've done so much in such a short amount of time, and it's definitely paid off. I have found my way. I am happy. I'm at peace with a lot, which says a lot, because there was a lot of things I didn't know how I was going to ever deal with. And now it's just like, really, all that stress, all those tears, all of that for what? And I have not touched alcohol anymore. So, yeah.
So proud of you, dude. You did. You cleared out so much
Yeah.
toxicity
At once.
all at once in just a few, and just literally we're on month 3 now. So in like a 2-month period, you took what you learned, you implemented it, you made sure that it was you, and you just knew. And that's another reason why I like working with the people that I work with, is because usually my clients are just like me. They've hit rock bottom. You can't really hurt them anymore, because they've already all had it all done. And I mean, that's not funny. That it's not funny, but it's the truth. You went through a crazy whirlwind of experiences throughout your entire life, and you kind of just got to a point where it's like, okay, well, the worst has already been done. I mean, obviously things can always be worse, but when we're in this right, but when we learn the tools and we overcome those big things that happen to us, because it's because of those big things that happen to us, right, that we have carried in these small things, like the people being mean to us at a restaurant, or our boss, or our children, we blow up, right? And it's because of those big things that happened a long time ago that we are in like defense mode all the time, survival mode all the time. So when these tiny little things that really shouldn't even affect us or matter, when they should just roll right off, but if we haven't dealt with those chemicals, those emotions, we haven't dealt with that frustration, that anger, that disappointment, that betrayal, we haven't dealt with it properly. The first time somebody does something, a stranger, your kid, like I said, anything, when it's really not their fault, you're going to explode. Yeah. And then that's those emotional triggers and that impulsive reactions that we don't understand. And then later we're like, why the hell did I act like that? Like, what is wrong with me? I need some help. And then we grab the bottle. Or for me, it was marijuana. I was smoking marijuana chronically. And I'm so glad to hear that you haven't touched alcohol. That is amazing. I'm actually celebrating 1 year sober tomorrow. So that's awesome. I love that. I'm so proud of you. And it's just a different experience when you can experience life without trying to escape from it.
Right. Yeah. Because I wanted to be able to feel like I was a ticking time bomb, and I was numb is what I felt like. But I wanted to be able to feel, but not the bad, not the hurt, not the emotion. Like I was tired of feeling sorry for myself, but I was tired of also hurting, because again, I've always been there for everybody else. But at this point, when I really needed somebody, I had nobody. So that's something else, like having you with somebody who, to help hold me accountable, which I'm very, very headstrong. And once I set my something, that's what it was. And I was determined, to have help, because like not only was all this affecting me, but like my relationship with my kids, friends, anybody. And I was attracting, I tried with a couple of relationships, ended up getting pregnant, going and doing what I did. And like, I was attracting people that were like me at that point in time that I wanted so badly to be and get away from.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
like a bottomless pit.
Yeah. I lost my train of thought, but I was going to say something. Maybe it'll come back. But no, thank you so much for sharing that. Yes, I totally understand. Man, I had something that to go back on that, but it's okay. If it comes, it comes. Okay, so my next question is, what is something that you learned during our time together? Oh, it came back before I move on. I remember, I want to applaud you because you mentioned the accountability. I want to applaud you because you actually took advantage of that accountability and that support. And if you had a hard time, or if there was a time where you felt like, why did I do this? I blew up or whatever, what's going on? You reached out to me. We talked about it. And you didn't have to wait for a session. We talked about it. You made sure that you got it taken care of when you were feeling it. You know what I'm saying? So I want to applaud you for taking advantage of the 24-hour support. We might only have one session a week, but you've got that 24-hour support. And I'll just get back to you, as I'm not superhuman, but I get back to you ASAP. You're always going to be, as my client, you're always like my top priority. So if I see your name pop up, I'm like, well, what's up? Oh, what do they need? So yeah, I'm so glad that you took that time to reach out and get that support, even during like the week, so that was perfect too, because I think that helped a lot too for you.
Especially at work. It helped that Monday big time.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. So my next question is, what is something that you learned during our time together that was like maybe your favorite thing that you learned, or that you found to be the most helpful?
I had so many aha moments, but learning I don't have to be everything that I'm told I am, like the bipolar, the anxiety and depression, like learning that those aren't me. It's not who I am. That was a big thing. And learning that I don't know, it was like a slap in the face, learning that I create a lot of my own issues and learning how to get past that and feel the emotion versus trying to tuck it away, learning to feel and deal and accept it for what it is and move past it. All of those were things that have greatly helped me, because it's helped me not sweep it under the rug, but deal with it, accept it, and move on, because I can't change the past. The past is past. It's gone. It's done for a reason.
Right.
I don't have to sit here, and I was major OCD, and I don't have to sit here and plan out my next move and know everything. That's not my job. Like, I'm able to enjoy and live in the moment and learning all those things and allowing the feelings to come up and deal and just to go on. All of that's been what I needed.
Good. I love that. I'm so glad that you said that. I know that these labels and these diagnoses can feel so heavy and so real. And it's not that they're not real, right? It's you don't have to accept it, and you can think about it. No, mental health is no different than physical health, right? Think about these children that are born and the doctors are diagnosing them that they're not going to live. You've got examples, your kid. So like, think of these doctors that are telling you your kid's not going to make it, this, that, and the other thing. And they are like, I don't accept that. I'm here to stay. I'm going to change my life. We don't have to accept these things. They may be true. They may be real, but we don't have to allow them to stay with us. We can heal our mental illnesses just the same as we can heal physical ailments as well. Yep. No different.
Yeah. For me personally, I think, and on a nursing standpoint, I can say, yes, stuff like that is very real. And see, that's something with me, like both sides of the fence. So all of this is like, what? Like, it was all a slap in the face, but I needed it. It was like a wake up call, I guess.
Yeah. But like the light bulb went off.
Yes. So like the ADHD or bipolar, manic bipolar, depression, anxiety, because those were big things for me. All of that for me personally, like, I know it's real scientifically, but for me, it's weakness. It is something, it's like a crutch. It's something that instead of fixing me, because self is the hardest, instead of me working on me and those triggers or things that cause those problems, it's easier to say, oh, my anxiety, I'll never go out in public again. I'll never go out to eat. I'll ruin my kids' life. I'll stay home because my anxiety. To me, that's a weakness. I wanted past that. I wanted to be open. And when I come into this, I was seeking help. So when I found something that felt right, I went with it with an open mind, and I wasn't shut out. Like I was like, okay, she can do it. I heard her story. I'm going to give her a chance. So whatever happens, happens. I have nothing to lose at this point because I was at my lowest and worst. So
and you had tried so many different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Changed my number, quit my job, walked away from everything.
You have done literally so much. It's been amazing. Like all my clients, they are experiencing shifts so freaking quickly.
It happens naturally. It just comes. Like every single one of our sessions, whatever we talked about, it was like I was living in the moment. Like everything come as it was supposed to come.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I created this program with the universe, and I did all of this in mind with my own healing experience. I wanted to make sure that the way that I was going to teach was a way that it was going to flow the way that it needed to flow. And so far, like, it's been perfect. And also, not only do I flow with a structure, but it's so easy for me to just intuitively help you if what I have planned isn't exactly what we need. It's so easy to kind of switch it up a little bit and go into an intuitive session. And because there might be a tool that I have that maybe when we first met, you might not have been ready for, but some shifts happened and now you are ready for that tool, so I can give it to you, if that makes sense. So
yeah. And we done that a couple of times. Like we had and then once we got to talking about that, then it, that just wasn't what was right. And so what we needed to do is I don't know, like I would tell you what was going on or give you the words, and then from there you would just know it would work. Yeah,
we would just shift it around a little bit. Awesome. So my next question is, were there any shifts that you made during our time together that you weren't expecting to make?
Like, what do you mean? Like positively?
Yeah. So were there any changes that happened that I mean, like, hopefully they're positive, but were there any changes that happened that you weren't expecting to happen during our time together that I'm trying to think of an example. Like maybe, was there any goals that you had that you didn't have in the beginning that kind of happened during our time together, if that makes sense?
I don't know. I had a pretty open mind with it all, so I wasn't closed off to anything specifically. I mean, I didn't plan on anything to happen, good or bad.
It was kind of all of it. It was kind of a little bit of everything. Like, you didn't plan to have a new job, to cut so many people out, to be able to put those boundaries in place with your family. All of these things.
I'm not somebody who likes change either. So like having to go through and change my number, like all of that stuff, everything that happened in those situations, like all of it, none of it was easy. I didn't plan on any of it. But it was something that needed to be done. It was something that felt right. And I just went with it. Like I didn't plan anything. I just did what I felt was right to do. And
it came fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all these changes came fast too, but you and I know change is hard and change is scary, so it makes sense that pretty much almost the entire experience was like a shift that you weren't expecting, because you kind of came into this like, I just need help, but I don't know what that means.
Right. Yeah, I was just tired of being miserable and feeling how I felt.
Right. And then, like you said, you were able to come in with an open mind, and you allowed things to flow the way that they needed to. You accepted what felt right for you, and you took action.
Right.
Perfect. Is there any tips or advice that you would like to share?
Sorry.
That's okay. Is there, so my next question is there any tips or advice that you'd like to share for people that might be where you were in the beginning, feeling stuck, feeling kind of numb? What is there something that maybe you learned during our time together, or just some advice in general that you want to share for people that might be in your situation where you were in the beginning?
So for me personally, I was my own worst critic. I beat myself up, and being numb and having no feeling. Like I just hated that. I hated all of it. I've never really been somebody to open up and love, but a lot of that has to do with how I was brought up or how I was done. So loving my kids were easy, but everything else, nothing come easy or natural. It was all hard. It was all work. And I was just tired of feeling how I felt. So again, when I got to the point like, okay, the worst has happened, I've went through a separation, like, I didn't have somebody to call dad. So I leaned on my mom fully. When I lost my mom, the only other person that I had steadily was, the guy that I had all my kids by, and, whatever. And we had been married for years and years and years. And then that separation happened, and he was my rock. And so it was like losing somebody all over again. Like I put
Right.
everything into that person. And so that was hard. And I really shut everything off. So, I felt like everything was my fault, like everything was me, something was wrong with me. And it's easy to do that. It's so easy to just give up and not work on you. The hardest thing to work on and fix is self. And I've learned that. Like I can fix other people around me. I can help other people around me. But when it came to helping myself, that was something I was not ready for. So whatever's going on or going through, like it's normal, it's natural. Many people have been through it or go through it. There's not anything you can't change. Like I'm a firm believer, like as long as you're alive and breathing, it's fixable. And it's worth working on. And if you sit there like I was and stress about every little thing and blow up over every little thing and drown yourself in self-pity or alcohol or drugs, whatever it may be, then like that's your destiny. You're just putting it out there. I don't really know what I'm trying to say. Like,
You get to control your reality.
right, right. And so if I'm
You
just
can,
going to sit here and feel sorry for myself all the time, then that's what it's going to be. But when you step up and you say, okay, I'm going to change, I'm going to do better, like things around you start shifting and changing and things start working out.
immediately.
Like, yes,
And
relationship.
it's because of your mind. It's because of what you've decided for yourself. You are not going to allow that story to be
Right.
your story anymore.
And you do get to write it. Like you get to write the next
Yes.
chapter. There's so much more that you have control over that you don't even realize. So just keep an open mind. Don't be stuck. Don't be a crystalline, and
No, be a crystalline. Be a crystalline.
not the old one, not the old.
Hey, that's okay. We needed her. You had to go through her to get to you now,
For sure. Yeah. And so many people, like I was talking, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, everybody, some people believe in therapy, some people don't, but some people aren't as open as others. And so when you just
Right.
tell them what's going on or how you're feeling, like they literally think you're crazy. So
Yeah.
finding somebody who's just as open and willing to listen and help and give the tools, like it's amazing. So it's worked for me. It's worked out. And I've learned a lot, like the gratitude practices, or being my own cheerleader, being my own nurturing person
celebrating.
that I needed.
Yes.
All those
Yes.
because it's hard. It's hard I'm very goal driven. I can go, and stay busy. And that's how I function, but enjoying it. And that was hard work. That was learning. So.
Well, thank you so much, Crystalline, for sharing. That's our time now. So we're going to wrap this up. And that was all my questions. And I really, really appreciate you sharing this experience and just being you, like unapologetically you, and none of what every time I share my own story, when my clients share their story, that's all that it is. It's our own experience in this. This doesn't mean if you're trying other things that you're doing something wrong. Absolutely not. Every healing journey is going to be unique. But what I do this for is because there are people just like me, which is Crystalline. Crystalline is somebody who is very similar to me. We work well together, and what I taught her, just like it helped me, it's helped her. And I have many clients like that. So I share my story. I help my clients share their story because I know we're not the only ones. And
Right.
this is for the people who resonate. You know, this is for the people who have tried everything and they're ready for something more open. They're ready for something new that they haven't experienced yet. Maybe something that's not Western oriented or whatever. You know, like I said, they want some holistic approaches. They want some outside of the box thinking. They need some new open-minded concepts. And
Way less boring.
See what?
It's way less boring because I've tried the rest of it. So it's way less boring. And I get bored. I would just be like, blah, blah. So
yeah, there is no time for boring with us. We are talking, we are learning, we are exercising, and we are creating. We are creating the new reality that we want. We are creating our next chapter in every single session.
And I always, this is important too for me because I go off of immediate feeling. As before, I would be sad, upset. Here, I have always walked away, no matter whether it be, you know, a Tuesday meet, Saturday meet, whatever. Like I have always left with a feeling like full, happy, like it's, and I've not got that anywhere else. So that was important for me too.
Oh, thank you so much. And that's my full intention is I don't ever want you to leave a meeting. I want you to leave the meeting feeling good, empowered, and like you can take on the freaking world and that you're a freaking rock star because that's the truth. I don't care. Like I care about what you've been through, but it doesn't matter how much you've been through. You are still a rock star and you still deserve happiness and wonderful relationships. And I want you to, the whole time we're together, I want you shifting so that you are stepping into that power because you are so freaking powerful. And so thank you for sharing that. I love that. Awesome. Well, I'm going to get, we're going to close up here and I hope anybody who's watching enjoyed this interview. And if you guys have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comment. We're happy to answer them. Crystalline's in my group. This will be on YouTube as well. So I'm so happy to have you guys and thank you all for tuning in and checking out Crystalline's story because it was a true success story and I'm so glad she could share it. And I'll see you guys later.